Aloha. Nicholas Jordan Moore coming to you from Waikiki Beach. It's Monday morning in Hawaii, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to become your most authentic self. The first step to really finding your most authentic self is stepping into fear and really embracing vulnerability. Because we all, we're raised in the household that we're raised in with all sorts of values and examples that we learn from. And our parents ultimately usually want us to be happy, but they typically think that happiness comes in the form of stability and safety. So they want you to kind of fit in and not really stand out and not be different. Just kind of be the status quo, be safe, and don't take many risks. And I'm not saying that that's all parents, but that's something that ultimately can hold us back a lot from finding our true selves and finding our most authentic selves and really finding what truly makes us happy. So having the courage to go out on a limb and do something that your parents or your family or your loved ones may not fully understand, or they might kind of judge at first, or not really know, hey, what's going on with Nick, or what's going happening there. In my life, I was very, very fortunate to kind of get pushed into the not caring about what my parents think. As many of you know, I have a very, very heavy family story, and I wouldn't be in Hawaii if I wouldn't have stopped caring about what people think. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if I cared about what other people thought. So it's something that can truly springboard you into finding your most authentic self is stepping into fear and really being vulnerable. You're not going to do anything worthwhile in life unless you're able to be vulnerable, because you're putting yourself in the arena. There's a book called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown that I highly recommend to anyone that's wanting to learn more about the academic side of vulnerability. My book, I'm really taking it to an extreme, and I'm using it in the real world, and I'm living proof that what she says in her academic studies is true. That you can tell all your deepest, darkest secrets. You can talk about things that most people don't want to talk about, and it's okay. Being human is a really difficult and confusing experience. And the more we can embrace our humanity and talk to each other about some hard things, the more we realize we have a lot more in common than we think. That as soon as we start taking off all the masks and letting the messy human be seen, we're a lot more alike than we think. So we've got to have the courage to take off those masks. Vulnerability is a big part of my life. Brene Brown, she studied shame and vulnerability for 10 years before she wrote that book. And, it's an interesting thing. Just think about being at an arena or some sort of conference, and there's somebody up on stage talking about all sorts of terrible things that they've done, really, really embarrassing things that most people would never want to tell anyone. And you're looking at them, you're like, wow, they're really courageous. But for whatever reason, if we think about ourselves doing the exact same thing, we think that people are going to judge us, they're going to hate us, and they're not going to understand. So we have it backwards in our heads. For whatever reason, we see somebody else doing it, we're like, wow, that person's courageous. We think about ourselves doing it, like, no, people are going to judge me, they're not going to understand. So that's a little switch that we got to really prove to ourselves that that's actually true. So get out there and just start small. If there's something that you think is holding you back that you just haven't talked to anybody about, find a friend and talk to them about it. Open up about the hard things, and don't be embarrassed or afraid of what people are going to think when you start doing something that you've never done before. Now, stepping into the unknown, people like to keep you in that little box that they've always had you in. That's the box that they feel comfortable with you in. But don't be afraid to break out of that box, you know. Go to a concert that you never would have thought you would have gone to. You know, go do a class that no one would ever think, a class that you would ever take. You know, do things that you've never done, because that's the only way you're truly going to find your most authentic self, and you're really going to surprise yourself with the things that you enjoy. You know, go play a sport, go join a little league that you've never joined before, and you're going to meet new people are going to enter your life, and don't be afraid of old people leaving your life. That's a big part of becoming your most authentic self, is that some people aren't going to understand you. Some people aren't going to accept you. But you have to really truly know that the circle that you're going to actually eventually step into by becoming more of your authentic self is way bigger, way more loving, and actually real than that current friend group that you might have. So the lesson for today, man, is no matter what, try to do whatever you can to let go of what people are thinking about you, and especially your family. You know, that's one that holds us back a lot. But if you want to become your most authentic self, it starts with being vulnerable. It starts with doing things new. It starts with just start pushing your boundaries. You can't become who you're supposed to become if you're staying in your comfort zone. You have to be willing to push that comfort zone and continue no matter what. Even if, you know, all right, I think I figured it out. Well, life is never ending. Either you're green and growing or you're ripe and dying. That was something that one of my bosses used to say that made an impact on me. Either you're green and growing or you're ripe and dying. So either you're done learning, done growing, done exploring new things, or finding more of your authentic self, or you're going to forever learn more and forever grow and forever continue to step into that curiosity and step into that uncomfortable zone, because that's where the growth truly happens. So thanks for joining me at Waikiki today, and I hope y'all have an awesome day. Sending you love, reminding you that you're worthy of abundance, love, and happiness. If you haven't already, do me a favor, click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if there's any subject that you want me to talk on. And yeah, I'll see y'all again soon. Until next time, aloha.